You, however, you did know that Umineko uses an episode system.
Yes, but I didn't realize I was gonna be playing Umineko when I started doing YouTube. It was very much like,
Yeah,
yeah, you don't have to read Umineko, you know.
yeah.
Anyway, welcome back to Umineko. That's the cold open.
Oh, you're recording that. Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit of it. For context, we were talking about how Umineko uses episodes, and I also use episodes, like the title episode for my video. So we were talking about the confusion that causes.
Yeah, and had how someone had commented on it.
Yeah, someone has commented on it, and I was like, it's Umineko.
Yeah,
What's one more thing to add to the pile, you know?
yeah.
All right. We were starting off with Shannon.
Okay.
Hold on.
Um. Uh, uh,
Sorry.
it's okay.
There we go.
Um. What? What do you mean by that, George-san?
I mean what I said! I still haven't built up my castle. We're talking about Minecraft, you know?
George would totally play Minecraft.
George 100% would play Minecraft, and Maria would wipe the floor with him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we'd see, like, it's,
Her
like,
special interest would be Minecraft.
absolutely.
Never underestimate an autistic kid.
Absolutely. Once I manage to do that, I'll finally be able to think of myself as an adult. When that happens, I want to marry you. In my castle.
Th- That's um uh
But my heart won't let me do that anymore. So I want to give you an engagement ring.
e- engagement, you say. But um I am furniture.
Oh, right, that. Well then,
Ah,
George, I want to like you. I truly do. I like.
did he not think this through for a second?
Does he think? I don't know if he can think. I don't know. I don't know if he has the capacity to think. Well then, furniture has to listen to what people say, right? Right now, I'm having a ring made that'll be fitting for you. I think it'll be ready in time for me to bring it to the upcoming family conference. I'll give it to you then, so please, I want you to let me hear your answer. If you accept, then I'll proclaim our engagement right there, in front of all the relatives, including grandfather.
George-san,
Jesus fucking Christ. Why did they use that sprite? It's very intimidating. I'm sure some people want to approve of our relationship. There's no
okay,
need to look at their
go ahead. I
faces
wasn't expecting that.
because you only have to fill
You're
your
gonna have
eyes
to.
with.
You're. Hey, you're gonna have to repeat that. I don't think. I don't think it was clear enough.
I'm
I was really caught off guard.
I'm sure some people won't approve of our relationship, but there's no need to look at their faces because you only have to fill your eyes with me. I will definitely bring you happiness. And that's the one thing I can promise you with certainty. Fade to black. Well, that was a quick little. Sorry.
Oh, this song. I love this song. I just can't wait to see how it will ripen.
Oh shit! Sorry, I turned up the volume because I have the game volume really low for me while you're very loud, so I turned it up and to hear the song and oh my, this fucks. Ooh.
I know. The gold butterflies do not swoop upon the juice of overripe and rotting fruit. I cannot wait for the day of harvest to come. Is the time of the banquet here yet?
Oh god, my window. The first day, October 4th, 1986.
Oh, also, today we are filming this on the day of the writer's birthday.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
Shit, happy birthday to them then.
yeah,
What's today's date? November 19th. Happy birthday to them.
yeah.
You I hope
I hope he's watching.
I hope he's watching. Oh my god, do you think? Do you think?
I hope friend of the channel. I hope.
One of these days. Fuck, that'd be so funny if he was like the first. He was just the first subscriber. Just like okay,
It was Yukishi all along.
he was. Oh my god. Oh fuck. If you do happen to watch this for some reason, thank you for making something good. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine he at any point would, but just in case. They had eaten breakfast at a coffee shop in the station building. By chance, the inside of the shop had been decorated with Halloween colors since it was October. Maria had seemed to be awfully pleased with that. For quite some time, she talked loudly inside the train about wanting to have a Halloween festival, without caring that she was attracting the attention of others. Halloween is popular in Europe and America, but people aren't that familiar with it in Japan. The shopping district was colorfully decorated with orange pumpkins. Oh, I thought it was going to be a list. But the costume parades of children demanding sweets and saying trick or treat were nowhere in sight.
Ugh, I want a Halloween festival. I don't want to wear these clothes. I want to look like a witch. Ugh.
I don't know, those clothes are very witch like. The family conference isn't for playing. We're going to be grandfathers, so you have to dress up nice. While it wasn't completely full inside the train, it was really packed. While with almost all the seats occupied by passengers. Maria was making a fuss among them, stomping her feet on the seat while Rosa scowled at her. Rosa had warned her many times to lower her voice, but Maria hadn't obeyed her at all. Once Maria got like this, no matter how much you tried to explain the situation or calm her, she wouldn't listen. Before, Rosa used to pamper Maria and give in to her at times like this. But that had probably been a mistake. Surely Maria had gained the mistaken impression that throwing a tantrum long enough would make her mother give up and do what Maria said. Rosa had realized that error with the help of an educational book, and since then, she'd hardened the part of her heart that wanted to pamper her beloved daughter. Her mutual understanding with Maria began to grow weaker and weaker, and she began to get discouraged by her own powerlessness more and more often.
Halloween, Halloween. If you don't give me sweets, I'll play a prank. Ugh.
I don't have any sweets to give you. We just ate breakfast. Ah, but I hate it when my daughter is making a scene. It means I have to make a scene in return. I have to make the scene much more serious in return.
Yep,
Like
parenting.
like if I see a kid like having a tantrum, I'm just like, yeah, fine, whatever. The parent's probably just as tired as I am. Fine. I see the parent getting just as mad. I'm like, oh no, something bad is happening.
Yeah.
I notice I notice kids more when their parents are being mad at them.
Yeah, same.
Any prospective parents out there watching this know that.
Yeah, be nice to your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Also, read Umineko, because
Also read
um,
Umineko.
because it will teach you to be nice to your kids. Question mark. If in case that wasn't obvious. Give me sweets, I'll play a prank. If you don't give me sweets, I'll play a prank. Mm.
A stout old woman who was sitting nearby as Maria stomped her feet picked a candy out of her handbag and held it out to Maria.
I got a sweet. I got a sweet. Look, look, Mama. Mama, happy Halloween.
You want to say that in a very exaggerated, like, well, you're Canadian, so Canadian accent, like she's because it's like she's saying it in English.
There are so many different Canadian accents.
Yeah, there's so many different American accents too. There's so many different accents of everywhere else. Go along with the
Listen, I already
goof.
said it the way that sounds most right.
Rosa, sweetheart, darling, you're making the scene worse. Like, yeah, don't accept candy from strangers. I have a hard time believing this old woman was waiting, just in waiting, for a little kid to be throwing a tantrum about Halloween so she can give them candy, though. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
That'd be one hell of a fucking setup. Holy shit. Just like, oh, I can't wait for a kid to be throwing a tantrum for Halloween candy. Hey Maria, you can't just accept sweets from strangers, right? Bit back. Oh, don't worry about it. Ho ho ho. She's such a spirited young lady. How old is she? Maybe there was no malice in the old woman's words. However, Rosa seemed to find that remark extremely humiliating. Maria, Maria, haven't I always told you not to accept sweets from strangers?
Uh, uh, she gave it to me. Mm, mm. No, it's mine.
Of it! How many times do I have to tell you to do what Mama says?
It's mine. Mine. Mm, mm.
Don't I always tell you not to say ooh?
Why are you laughing at a time like this?
Because that's such good comedic timing. Don't I always tell you not to say that? Says it.
Mm, mm, mm.
Rosa reflexively hit Maria violently on her cheek, causing much more of a scene than what already was happening. In a flash, Maria started crying loudly. Rosa immediately took the candy from Maria's hands and pushed it back towards the dumbfounded old woman sitting next to them. Please, do not just give sweets to my daughter. I- I'm sorry. Breathing heavily, Rosa once again held the candy out to the old woman. After getting flustered about what she should say for a few moments, perhaps the old woman realized that her actions may have troubled this parent and child, and she accepted the candy back, apologizing. After that, Rosa finally took notice of her surroundings. Her daughter's clothes were all messed up, she was crying and shouting with her nose dripping, and there were many dumbfounded passengers watching them. Except for the sound of the train running, the interior was completely silent. Fortunately, that pitiful silence didn't last more than a short while. However, it was followed by an even more painful atmosphere as everyone began to whisper. Hey, Rosa, it's very easy not to get into this situation.
It's so easy not to hit your kid.
It's so much easier not to be abusive. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine people being abusive. It's so much easier to just not, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes so much less effort. Maria shouted, cried, kicked, and stomped her feet as usual, paying no heed to the people sitting around her. Impulsively, Rosa tried to slap her again, but she noticed the cold eyes of the people in the training. Okay.
Yeah, maybe being self-aware is a good idea.
When the train stopped, Rosa forcibly pulled Maria's arm and got off, almost dragging her daughter along. Maria didn't stop crying. Rosa took to the end of the platform and hit her cheek again. At the moment she was hit, Maria stopped crying for an instant, but before long, she shouted and cried even more than before. Overwhelmed with emotion, Rosa grabbed the nape of Maria's neck and dragged her, tugging at her hair.
Mm, mm, mm. Mama, it hurts. Mama, it hurts. Mm.
Did I tell you to shut up? Of yours, I told you to stop. That's the reason you can't make friends in class, right? Get a hold of yourself. Why are you still a kindergartner inside your head? Why can't you do what Mama says? Why? Why? With those severe words, Rosa hit Maria's cheek over and over again. The more Maria cried and shouted, the more Rosa hit her. You know, that makes sense. And the more Maria was hit, the more intensely she cried and shouted.
Mama, it hurts. Mama, it hurts. Mama, save me. Mama, save me. Mm.
Why can't you stop saying ooh? This is exactly why you can't make friends. This is why Papa's business trip never ends. This is why I. Excuse me, ma'am. Is everything alright? You want something? The one who timidly called her was the station attendant. Rosa glared at the attendant with a look that said, "Don't butt into the problems of a mother and child, stranger." Of course, the attendant surely hadn't wanted to get involved either. However, Rosa had been yelling on the platform for a much longer time than she had imagined. Her emotional scolding had led the passengers on the platform to advise the attendant to call out to her. Rosa yelled at the attendant and not to worry anymore since they'd be getting on the next train. And finally, or rather for the second time, she noticed the passengers on the platform staring at her from a distance. Rosa sweat slightly and felt a breeze make her sweat. Rosa sweat slightly and felt a breeze make her sweat go cold. Okay. That's the translation. All right. I thought I was going insane. Tormenting her. Maria still kept on crying, shielding her own head. Of course, if the beating continued, she'd probably keep crying indefinitely. I wonder why. I did it. Again. As the terrible heat in Rosa's head faded, she knew she had surrendered her soul to evil again. Alright, to help lighten the mood a bit, because I know this is getting heavy. Alright, we feeling better?
State mandated crab rave.
State mandated crab rave. We feeling emotional support crab rave. We feeling better, or do we need a guitar riff as well?
Oh, why not? Yeah.
Okay. Alright,
Get it out of your system.
Alright, we're feeling better. We're feeling better. Cool.
Mama, 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 come back. Mm. Mm.
Rosa fell to her knees and hugged Maria. whose face was all soggy with tears and mucus. Can you imagine being here seeing this? Maria, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Mama, welcome back. Welcome back.
Finally, Maria realized that her mother was her mother again. She clung to her mother's body and cried, burying her face in her mother's chest. Forgive your bad mama. Forgive your bad mama. I'm so sorry. Please don't hate your mama.
I'm just fine. I don't hate Mama. Mama was only being possessed by the bad witch again. But you came back. So I'm just fine.
I like to imagine the attendant is like still like right there hearing all this, and he's like, do I need to call someone? This sounds like it has way more history. Yeah, that's right. Mom was just being possessed by the evil witch again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. For a long time, the two of them hugged each other, asking for and sharing words of forgiveness. After a while, they calmed down and both moved back at the same time. Maria's face and Rose's face were both deep red after crying their eyes out. Do you want to have a Halloween festival, Maria?
Yeah. I wanted to show those pumpkin marshmallows to George Oni-chan and Jessica Oni-chan.
It was a candy they'd been selling near the cash register of the shop where they'd eaten breakfast. A fancy sweet that had a big orange marshmallow in the shape of a jack-o'-lantern attached to the tip of a stick. Maria had wanted it and had insistently pestered Rosa for it. Rosa had refused, saying that there was no way she could buy sweets right after breakfast. Then Maria, I don't know if they sell those in this town or not, but let's get off and try searching for them, okay?
Yeah. I love you, Mama. Love you so much. Thank you.
I love you too, Maria. The truth was that they didn't have time to waste loitering around at a stopover station. If they missed the airplane, they'd fall half a day behind schedule. She should have left home with more time to spare, but she ended up leaving late after choosing Maria's clothes. Because of that, Rosa had been a bit impatient since that morning. She looked at the clock. They had to get on the next train immediately. But her daughter firmly joined hands with her to go by the suite with her mother, and that hand was warm. To Rosa as she was now, it was more important to renew her bonds with Maria. To her, Maria was not only a beloved daughter, she was everything Rosa had. Fortunately, they could see a big supermarket right in front of the station. They might not be able to find exactly the same suite, but Maria would probably be happy with a similar one. Besides, Rosa couldn't show up with a face swelled from crying. She must fix her makeup. Maybe we won't find a marshmallow exactly like that one, but hopefully we can find something like it. Let's go buy some and surprise all your cousins together.
Yeah. As long as we buy it together, any sweet is fine.
They exited through the turnstiles of the station in this unknown town. Maria walked across the pedestrian crossing with her mother, chuckling to herself as though she was walking in an amusement park. Both faces were still deep red, but the two of them, mother and child, smiled warmly at each other without any restraint. Dear, what are you doing in a place like this?
Oh, it's you. It's nothing. I just find this a pleasant place to think.
All of our preparations for today have been completed. Why don't we have some tea and relax while we wait?
Forgive me. I'm always making you handle such troublesome matters.
Please, rely on me even more. I am your wife.
Naturally, I'm grateful to have you always coming to my aid. That's precisely why I'm able to devote myself to my work.
I understand. I understand about your work. And the topic of father's inheritance, right?
That has nothing to do with you. It's nothing more than fishing for rotten meat amongst greedy siblings.
It's okay, dear. Everything will go well. Your bus- Excuse me. Your businesses have never failed to work themselves out. Natsui softly cuddled close to Krause's shoulder. She complimented Krause on his hard work, but Natsui knew better than anyone that his work wasn't going well. Krause's project was something like a seesaw where a large amount of money swings. Big investments can lead to massive payoffs, but like large seesaws, they tend to shake a lot while moving very slowly, start showing immediate results. At times, it's possible to make further investments so that the seesaw inclines faster towards the side you want. Of course, you'd only do that if you were confident you'd be able to recover all your investments in the not-so-distant future. However, the seesaws Krause chose never turned out as he would have liked them to. His foresight wasn't wrong, but the times were moving sluggishly. They never managed to catch up with him. For example, think of a literal seesaw placed in a park. It's a really popular item, so there's always someone playing on it. And you've got to wait a long time for your turn. Let's say that one day you spot up on the seesaw as it was completely unused, and you race to grab it first and have it all to yourself. However, unless someone got on the opposite side of the seesaw, you wouldn't be able to play on it. What if lots of time passed and nobody came to the opposite end? Seesaws are popular, so if you wait long enough, a companion will surely show it up. I have never used a seesaw in my life. Little fun fact about me.
Damn, that's so sad.
The playgrounds I went to when I was a kid, and even my school, my elementary school playground, it didn't have a seesaw.
Yeah, honestly, most of them don't, at least where I live.
Yeah. But Kraus noticed something. The weather is getting worse, so nobody's coming outside to play. But seesaws are popular, so someone surely will come eventually. If he vacated his place because of the worsening weather, it would certainly be snatched away. And once again, he'd end up longingly gazing from a distance at someone else having fun on the seesaw. I'm imagining this is this is completely literal. The Kraus really wants to play on a seesaw.
This is so sad.
On one side of the seesaw, he continued to wait patiently, all alone. That was Kraus's project, and his current situation.
If only I'd had a bit more courage and the self-confidence to believe in my own foresight, I would never have failed.
Yes, that's true. Your foresight is never wrong. You are the only one who inherited father's resourcefulness. You inherited an innate disposition that none of the other siblings did.
This is just so funny to me. Like, she's just affirming him.
And he's just like, I'm such an idiot!
Yeah, he kind of is.
Ugh.
Moon tourism? But I could never believe in it. I always shut my own projects down like a coward. Why can't I believe in myself? Who would believe in a man who can't believe in himself? Nobody believes. I'm always sitting on the seat where the losers must sit. And my father, my mother, my siblings all sneer at me. How long is it going to take for me to be set free of this emotional complex? Just how long will it take?
Natsui was the only one who knew. Only she knew of Krause's anguish. As the eldest son of the Uchiromiya family, who would soon be forced to bear an immense responsibility, he couldn't open his pained heart to anyone, and was always getting compared to his father's greatest enterprises. I've made preparations concerning all other matters, so that you will be able to devote your attention entirely to the family conference. Yes, everything else has been seen to.
Thank you. Will there be any problems dealing with father?
No, Genji and Dr. Nanjo are on our side. I'll never allow those greedy siblings to make contact with father.
Hello, Goda here. Yes, please leave it to me. I'm anxious to put my skills to work for the big annual job.
In the kitchen, multicolored ingredients were gathered and the preliminary arrangements were promptly being started. Even though it was still morning, the ingredients for dinner were already in saucepans and steaming. Normally he had to deal with several assorted matters, but on the day of the family conference, he could devote himself entirely to cooking. To Goda, who was originally a chef, this was surely the greatest gala occasion of the whole year.
Yes, dinner will be calf steak. A wonderful cut of meat is already anxiously waiting for tonight in the refrigerator. Please be sure to look forward to dinner.
It was rare for Goda to be in this good of a mood towards his fellow servants. Goda bragged about being the Uchiromiya family's personal chef, and knowing he was considered worthy to display his excellent cooking at the family conference was his greatest honor. Understood. I will leave everything to you. Also, is Kumasawa there?
Kumasawa-san. I happened to see her earlier, but she is not here. Perhaps she went to get things ready in the guest house.
Is she loafing around again? No, it is fine. Please continue with your work.
Yes, yes. Leave everything to me, Goda.
Genji placed the telephone back on the receiver, sighing lightly. Genji sighed once again, thinking of Kumasawa, who was probably hiding again, even though things were this busy. And the ostentatious Goda, who only felt like doing anything on a day when he could show off.
Excuse me. Preparations for all the rooms in the guest house are complete. We received instructions from my lady to prepare a room for 4 people, so that the children can spend the night together. So, what shall we do?
I hear Batla-sama will be coming for the first time in 6 years. Presumably, Milady wants to stay up late into the night with her 3 cousins. Make the preparations. You do not need to tell Madame.
I see. Certainly. So, tonight, we'll have the late night shift, followed immediately by the morning shift. It looks like these 2 days will be tiresome. Speaking of which, the weather forecast is saying a typhoon will strike this area. Will everything be all right?
Assuming the typhoon doesn't stray too far from its course, it may affect the boat ride back for the family members. The family conference's schedule might be extended until Monday or Tuesday. Our task may be a long and tiring one, but I earnestly ask that you take care not to make any blunders. Shannon, remain calm and do not panic. Kanon, be sure to greet our guests in a sociable manner.
Yes, I'll be careful. I'll be careful.
Today, we must conduct ourselves in a manner suitable for a very important guest. See to it that you make no blunders.
We understand. All guests who visit here are important.
Canon, in the truest sense, we will be receiving a very important guest today. Make sure that you are prepared.
Yes, sir.
Shannon, is something the matter? You seem to be uneasy. Do you have some prior engagement at this time? Engagement? What? I mean.
uh, no, it's nothing. My apologies. Son, important guests will be arriving today. Detach yourself from your private life. I I don't know what you mean by private life.
As Shannon blushed as Shannon blushed just a bit, she turned her gaze away from the clock. Was it about time for the airplane carrying the family to arrive at Nijima? She tried to hide the fact that her upcoming long-awaited reunion with George was making her heart race. But Cannon, who stood beside her, seemed to see right through her. Shannon, please don't say a word and accept this. Inside a bathroom stall, George was practicing something over and over, taking out a small velvet box hidden in his pocket like a quick draw desert gunman. That's not it. Shannon likes men who are more assertive. Does she, or did you just assume that because you just tell her what to do constantly? You've got to pump it up.
Top 10 George moments.
I gotta pump it up with more horsepower. Shannon, put this on your ring finger. That's an order, okay? If I don't say it properly that it's on the left hand, maybe I should put it on her right hand. No, Shannon isn't that ignorant. But unless there's some room for her to express her free will, that'd be a little. I mean. Ah! As he crossed his arms, muttering, someone knocked on the door. George snapped back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. Hey, George Coon, you okay? Got a stomachache or something? Hey, Uncle Rudolph. It's okay. I'm fine. No need to worry. Really? That's good then. But you're straining way too much. Your ass'll burst. Rudolph washed his hands, laughing cheerfully as he left. George, realizing that the most embarrassing part hadn't been overheard, relaxed and felt extremely relieved. Today, isn't Rosa here yet?
Not yet. She's pretty late.
It's a good thing the weather's delaying our flight. If the schedule had gone on normally, she would have missed the plane. What does she plan on doing then?
Rosa-san is very much an adult now. She'll manage it somehow. No matter how old they get, older brothers always treat their younger sisters like children.
The Return of the King! I've missed Battler.
So real.
Of course, Dad's always a kid, no matter how old he gets. What'd you say? About a kid that'd make you a baby. Come on, Battler-chan. Up you go. I hope me popping my knuckles got caught by the mic. Stop it, that tickles. Stop!
You look more like two bratty friends than a father and a son. Look, she's here.
Oh, if it isn't Rosa-san! Maria-chan, long time no see.
Long time no see.
Maria, shouldn't that be it's good to see you again? Hideyoshi-san properly.
It's good to see you again.
There you go. Well said. How about some candy as a reward? Uh-huh. Where'd I put it?
Rosa-san, it's good to see you again. It's good to see you too, Maria-chan.
It's been too long, Kirie-ne-san, Hideyoshi-ni-san. And, oh my, Battler-kun? Look how big you've gotten. Come on. It's embarrassing to hear that from everyone I meet. Hey, Rosa. You're late. If the plane was on time, you'd barely have made it. I'm sorry. We had some trouble making our train connection. Are we waiting on the weather again?
Oh, don't complain. I much prefer the 30-minute plane trip to spending 6 hours bouncing about on a boat. Even if we're kept waiting here for an hour, still much faster overall.
Is that Maria? Sure have gotten big. She's at that growing age. You haven't seen her for 6 years, right? Of course she's changed. Women are creatures who can be born again in a single day when they have a change of heart. What?
Mm,
Maria, noticing a big man she didn't. I'm noticing a big, strong man she didn't recognize mixed in among the relatives, hid behind Rosa's back and glared at Battler. Come on, Battler, say hi. The last time you met her, she was just 3 years old. So you're practically meeting for the first time. Yeah, of course she would remember something that had happened when she was 3. Hey, Maria, long time no see. Should have gone big. Maria, this is Battler Oni-chan, Rudolph Nissan's son. Understand?
the brother's son is the brother is the son. Mm,
She was obviously on her guard. After all, it was hardly surprising that she'd be scared if a large guy like Battler suddenly started speaking frankly to her. Battler noticed that as well and thought of various ways he might approach her. Then, he spotted the candy she had in her hand. It was the jack-o'-lantern sweet Rosa had bought for her. I see. It's October, so that must be for Halloween. If you don't give me sweets, I'll play a prank, right? Normally, trying to snatch a sweet away from a small child would result in them crying and screaming. The adults seemed dubious about Battler's tactics, but Maria looks unexpectedly pleased, her face splitting into a wide grin.
Halloween, Halloween. See, Mama, Adler also knows about Halloween. See, see.
Hey, call him Battler Oni-chan. Sorry, Battler-kun. No, don't sweat it. Please call me Battler, because I'll be calling you Maria. Look, Maria, it's Halloween. Don't be giving me sweets. I'll play a prank. A prank that ends with 6 people brutally dying. That's right. Battler's the culprit. Plot twist. That would be an insane plot twist, though, if Battler was the culprit behind every single one. Sorry about that. I just had a sudden realization, technical difficulties. Um, so apparently, at least what it looked like the game audio was being picked up, and then it was being picked up very quietly. It should be fixed. There's a little behind the curtain stuff for you, audience at home. Right, we're back to the game. Okay. Yeah, I did that one. There we go. From inside her purse, Maria picked out a jack-o'-lantern sweet similar to the one she had in her hand and presented it to Battler. When Battler accepted it, that seemed to be enough to confirm their friendship. The adults were amazed at how good children can be at getting along with each other. Maria had been throwing a tantrum because she wanted a Halloween festival. So Battler, who knew about trick-or-treating, must have felt like an ally. Her defensive posture from before was completely gone. Now she was all cheery, as though they'd been friends for decades. That's right, Halloween's a pretty minor event in Japan. You always see people marching in costume parades on the news from overseas, but I've never seen it here.
I wanted to wear a costume too. I wanted to say trick or treat with all the cousins wearing costumes.
I see, I see. Next time, let's do it together. What would you like to dress up as?
A witch. Beatrice.
No idea who that is, but alright.
Oh, my lady, what are you doing in such a place? Madam was looking for you.
I'm here because I don't want to be found. Anyway, I'm sure she just wants to scold me, like, is your appearance alright and what's your language?
Without a doubt.
You know, when the day of the family conference comes, I always start thinking about this witch for some reason.
Huh. And why might that be?
The family conference is the day when everyone related to grandfather gathers. I hear that this time, even Battler's gonna be coming after 6 years. What if, just like that, some relative who hasn't shown themselves for several decades suddenly shows up? That's what I'm always thinking about.
Could a relative like that exist?
I mean Beatrice-sama. Nobody knows her background. Could she be grandfather's mistress from long ago? What if one of her descendants suddenly appears and tells us to return the gold we were given or something?
Kraus Sama and the others will probably discuss the master's inheritance problem this year, too. Once they get so fired up talking about the witch's gold, one could hardly be surprised if the witch herself were to show up, yes?
Kumasawa-san, I guess you keep quitting and getting rehired, but you've been here as long as Genji-san, right? You know more about Beatrice, don't you?
Who knows? Even if I try to remember, this old woman here can't even recall what she had for breakfast this morning.
Kumasawa-san, you're always dodging with those excuses, but you know something, right? Sometimes you feel kinda devious, like you know something and you're laughing behind our backs.
That's harsh. I don't have any secrets. The only thing I can say is that Beatrice-sama is the Golden Witch, and that she is the other master who controls the night of this island.
Okay, now you're just repeating stuff grandfather said. It must be a pain to play along with grandfather's crap, even though you get paid for it.
However, I can say this much.
What?
In ancient times, Rokkenjima was feared and called Azukishima, Azuki being island. The Azuki is said to be a corrupted form of Akujiki, and in fact it was called Akujikishima, Evil Appetite Island. That is what is told among the fishermen.
I've heard about that before. Supposedly, there's lots of sunken rocks and shipwrecks around here. So the fishermen got scared and stayed away whenever they could, right?
Evil spirits settle down in Akujikishima and have continually eaten the souls of people since ancient times. Quite a few people lost their lives because of this island.
And then that monk, that traveling Sugenja or whatever, built that shrine, reposed the souls and settled them there, right? Sounds pretty crazy though.
And that shrine for the repose of souls was destroyed by an eerie violet thunderbolt this summer, which tore up the darkness of the night.
Kumasawa-san, you really like those stories. Okay, sure, it'd be pretty creepy if a thunderbolt took out a shrine, but well, it was all worn out from the start. Maybe I just got washed away by some big wave.
The evil spirits of Akujikishima awoke from their slumber and summoned Beatrice-sama. If Beatrice-sama happens to pay a visit to the family conference.
If she does, Kumasawa fell silent for a moment. Jessica was pressing her to keep going, so that gap felt strange and eerie. When Kumasawa noticed that she had Jessica plenty scared with the silence, she grinned broadly.
Well, now, I wonder what would happen.
This is the kind of old woman I'm gonna be. Cryptic as hell.
Hell yeah.
Crafty, always getting out of my responsibilities.
Base.
Whoa, that sounds great.
Of course. Won't you be able to do better at work? If you get a chance to enrich your heart by living the good life every once in a while.
Yep. Can't live right unless both your wallet and your heart are enriched after all. Sure, I'll keep that day open. Go ahead and make reservations.
Okay. Don't even think of missing it.
Yeah, I'm counting on you. I love you, Kyrie. She didn't say it back. After kissing the receiver, Rudolph hung up. Before his seat, there were several executives with their sleeves rolled up, eagerly awaiting the end of that phone call. They're just watching him, just, okay, weirdo. Sorry to keep you waiting. Have we heard anything from the States yet? Yes. You have a call from Dale Watanabe, the lawyer. I'll transfer it. On the whole, how's it going? Well, there does seem to be one unfortunate matter. It appears the other party has no intentions of withdrawing from the trial. Guess there's no fooling them. Please, transfer it here. Understood. I'll do that right away. The executive ordered that the external line be transferred to the secretarial office. Okay, I did say that right. At once, the phone in front of Rudolph rang. Hey there. Hello. Sorry for the wait. Ushiro Miya speaking. Thanks. How's it going on your end? Hello, President Ushiro Miya. Let's skip the pleasantries and jump into the main issue. I've got good news and bad news. Which would you like first? Might as well start with the bad. I hate fighting when there's no dessert. Very well. The bad news is that the other party is getting ready to prosecute. Just a few days ago, a similar trial resulted in a decision in favor of the plaintiff. The defendants were using roughly the same arguments we planned to use, but they were rejected in every case. I'm afraid to say it, but if we face the courtroom as we are now, it's extremely likely that each one of our claims will get rejected. So that trial ended up being a total bust after all. And I thought their position was even more solid than ours. That hurts. Okay, what about the good news? I managed to contact the executives of the other party. I explained the situation we're in, told them we have no intentions of tarnishing their brand's image, and managed to get to an understanding. They'll send us their terms over the next few days, and if these are carried out, they promise to withdraw their charges. This is their proposal according to the number 2 man on their board of directors. Your impression? To be honest, I expect their terms will be extremely severe. We estimate that changing the company name and the brand name will be inevitable. I think we'll be able to earn some leeway by playing with the amount of settlement money, making a public apology in a major newspaper, and carrying all this out within a reasonable amount of time. They sure are making this complicated when they could just tell us to go broke. They only recently switched to a new president, and their groundwork hasn't been completely laid yet. If we persist until the bitter end, they fear the forces opposing the current president won't hesitate to aid their enemies. Hence, their big shots want this matter settled as quickly as possible, too. We might still have enough leeway to get them to mitigate their terms if it'll lead to a quick settlement. Either way, are we still looking at a crazy sum of money? You need to be prepared for that. Even that would be much cheaper than paying punitive damages. Thank you very much, sir. Please contact me if anything new happens. We're paying you the big bucks, so no idle chit-chat. Thank you. Goodbye. Rudolph hung up the phone. How did you like my voice performances there?
Incredible.
I love doing that voice. The executives sitting in the reception seat seemed to have guessed at the contents of that discussion. You guys hear that? Simply put, they'll forgive us if we can pile up enough money. Now all we've got to do is haggle over the amount of that money. President, the likely sum for that settlement was to not be indicated as too much. We don't have that much of a margin. If we'd known this would happen, we never would have started diversifying. The calculations were that we could escape a capital crisis if we managed to endure for 3 years. To think we'd be stabbed at a time like this, how bad can our luck get? I guess we fell at the step of the hop, step, and jump. It's enough to make you cry. We have no choice but to stop the money from the main bank. Banks are no good. They only bet their money on winners. The economy is improving, but we can't show weakness to the banks. Why do we have access to any funds that are unaccounted for? Funds we aren't aware of. Quit it. Do I look like that kind of man? The contents of my wallet are totally exposed to you guys, okay? The account books over there show all a company has. In that case, we need to raise money. We need a sponsor who can draw in several million for us as soon as possible. President, couldn't something be worked out with one of your personal connections? President! President! Ah, calm down, you bastards. Let me worry about raising the money. You guys just keep the business running without making too much noise. Our accusers are saying they'll let us be if we can show them the money. We've already got thick pipelines in Asia. Things will probably be shaky, but we'll be able to maintain our current deals. Basically, if we can just bring the money together, we'll be able to solve all our problems. Just you watch. I'll fix all of this. I won't leave you out in the cold. Time to start getting your hopes up again. Once this is all behind us, I'll be rewarding all of you guys with a champagne tower. I promise you that. So shut up and follow me. Got it? The airplane suddenly shook, probably due to turbulence. Rudolph was jostled awake. He'd woken early that morning and ended up drifting off to sleep while resting in his seat.
You okay? Are you sure you aren't still pretty sleepy? After all, it seems you've been really busy with work lately.
Being busy with work is nothing to complain about, right? Once I've got nothing left to do, it won't be long before we're out in the cold.
Good point. Now that even Bad Lurkin's back, we'd be looking at worse than just the two of us going around begging.
Yeah. Our family's all together again for the first time in 6 years. So the leader of our family's got to give it his best if we want to spend some time alone together. When he looked out the window, he saw that the airplane had already started to drop in altitude considerably. The fishing boats, which had only looked like black grains a short while ago, were starting to become clearly recognizable. If I could prostrate myself before father and get 10 million yen every time he slugged me, I'd do it a dozen times. Or maybe he could just go and die already. I've always depended heavily on his financial support, and now I'm after his inheritance. I'm headed straight to hell. I can hardly complain if father doesn't want to meet the man I've become. Gotta be that, once again, you do not plan on making an appearance at the family conference. Nandra
Oh
looked
no.
at... Nandra looked at Kinzo's face, sighing. Kinzo's eyes remained rooted to a strange book on magic.
I have no intention of joining those vultures in their debate. They can discuss how they'll suck my bones dry on their own. How utterly contemptible.
My, how troublesome. Nanjo shook his head slightly. To him, children and grandchildren were lovely things. He believed watching them grow was the only way to truly enjoy old age. So Kinzo's words were very saddening to Nanjo.
If the time comes for me to leave this room, I will show myself, just as she does not show herself yet.
When Kinzo raised his face, his gaze pointed at the portrait of the witch, which was respectfully displayed on the wall. Kinzo's mind didn't dwell for a moment on the fact that today was the family conference, where all of his beloved relatives would gather. It was filled only by the face of the witch in that oil painting, who never smiled except inside the portrait. Everybody knew that interrupting Kinzo when he talked about Beatrice would trigger his wrath.
Today, I will hold a certain ceremony.
Huh. And what might that be?
Perhaps it is closer to a gamble than a ceremony. After all, magic without risk can never house a miracle.
Nanjo had heard Kinzo say this many times before. You might even call it a pet phrase of Kinzo's. Kinzo apparently believed that magic and miracles could occur if you gambled your own fate with a certain amount of risk and triumphed. I wonder what sort of gamble you're making. As the man who was once called the Golden Gambler, and who is now so old he might pass on at any time, this should be well worth watching.
I see. So, the secret ritual I've developed after much research appears to be nothing more than a gamble to one unversed in magic such as you. Very well. If I have faith in miracles and win, you will see clearly on this day that all my research did bear fruit, despite it seeming to be little more than the product of my eccentricity. If you win, it will all end just as you have already seen, as nothing more than the eccentricity of an old man who might leave this world at any time.
Oh, just what sort of gamble could you be planning to take? As your friend that bets, or ceremony as you called it, I can only pray most sincerely that you achieve victory in it.
I thank you.
Speaking of which, Kinzo-san, have you heard that a much longed-for guest will be present at the family conference this year?
What? What?
You're just so excited, like, oh, what? Beatrice? Oh. For once, Kinzo reacted to Nanjo's words and turned around. That's right, Butler-kun from Rudolph-san's family. I hear we are coming after an absence of 6 years. Sure, he's become a splendid boy.
Oh, Battler. I wouldn't call him longed for. A guest who's failed to show up for a mere 6 years.
After hearing Battler's name and making a disappointed and ill-humored expression, Kinzo turned his back again. I imagine those 6 years went by in a flash for you, considering how you've immersed yourself in your research in this room.
However, we might actually receive a visit from a truly longed for guest. Everything depends on the results of the roulette. The roulette has already started to spin. Will it be rouge or noir?
Rouge the Bat? Sorry.
Tonight, let us enjoy ourselves as we see what kind of miracle the roulette will show us. The payoffs are huge. Our payoffs are large, and I don't intend to lose. Beatrice, accept my bet.
At that time, the telephone on the table rang. The piercing sound seemed to irritate Kinzo, and he picked up the receiver to preserve the silence as much as he could.
What is it? I'm busy.
Genji speaking. Everyone has arrived.
What of it? Just serve them some tea or something.
Certainly, I will do so. Kinzo hung up the phone rudely. Looking at that, Nanjo sighed yet again and shifted his attention outside the window. As he is now, I doubt Kinzo would pay any heed to any sort of guest. Could any guest possibly make Kinzo come out when the time comes, as he said? Kinzo had a single person in mind, but that was a guest who certainly wouldn't appear. Nanjo stared at the witch of the portrait with her impassive expression, unable to decide whether she was smiling or sad, and then gazed up at the lead-colored sky. Fuck yeah! So, are all the pieces in place? Shall we line them up all again and start a new game?
Any objections from you?
Nope, none. The witch looked at him challengingly while elegantly smoking her pipe. And Battler? He just rudely shrugged his shoulders as if he didn't care what she did. He didn't meet her eyes, but that didn't mean he didn't intend to challenge her. It showed his clear determination to never be taken in by this bastard's trick. It was an expression of his determination to fight.
So don't tell me you're jumping into this without a plan.
I don't even know how you'll make your first move, so I got no plans or anything. Go ahead and move first.
Naturally, I'll do so. How shall I break down your defenses? How many moves will it take to checkmate you? This is where you'll see me at my finest.
No matter what moves you come at me with, I won't believe in you. As long as I stand my ground at that point, I won't lose. And that means this game's built in a way that makes it impossible for you to win.
Perhaps you're right. However, I'm the one who decides how many times we'll hold this game. We'll repeat it over and over again until I win and you acknowledge your defeat. See? In other words, this is torture. An eternal torture that shall continue until you surrender to me. It shall go on endlessly until you acknowledge me and the existence of witches.
Then I'll play your game endlessly, as many times as it takes, until you run out of patience. I never lost in a test of stubbornness.
Oh, did a certain witch plant that idea in your head? Very well.
I'm tired of listening to you ramble. Come on, get this started!
Then let us begin. I already know all of your moves. A defense doesn't amount to much if the plan behind it is known. Don't think you'll be able to defy me with the same move.
Beatrice, I've got just one thing to say before we start.
What is it?
Go ahead and say whatever you want. However, whether I believe you, it's something I'll decide for myself. No matter how impressive this magic of yours is, my soul won't yield to you. You think this is torture for me? Wrong!
Then what else could it be?
This is torture for you! Someday you'll surrender to me and give up! Until then, you'll be tortured over and over again!
How amusing, what an entertaining metaphor. Torture where we torment each other. Yes, truly amusing. Come, shall we begin that torture? Ushiromiya Battler?
this part is what really borned my strategy of what I would do if I was in Battler's place, which is make her angry. It's like, yeah, piss her off. This is torture for her. She has to deal with me. I'm not stuck in a room with her. She's stuck in a room with me. I would 100% think I could I can beat Beatrice just by annoying her. I think I can do it.
I'd love to see that.
I think I think I can do it. You know I'm willing. You know like how far I'm willing to go to win. Ugh. Every year, the relatives visiting Rokkenjima would let out a sigh of admiration at the rose garden that first greeted them. They would stop there to chat about the rose's beauty and how well they were blooming that year. In the midst of all this, there was a single unhealthy rose, and Maria became overwhelmed with dejection at its condition. But George used his quick wits, and saying that everything would be fine if they took care of this poor thing, marked it with a candy wrapper and immediately restored Maria's good mood. Then Battler, with whom she'd been getting along with well since that morning, started talking about Halloween. This was such a favorite topic of Maria's that she began playing around energetically again. To Maria, that marshmallow jack-o'-lantern candy bought by her mother was probably the greatest sort of treasure. They seemed to have bought several, and she demanded a trick-or-treat from every person she met, giving them candy instead of the other way around. I wonder why Maria likes Halloween so much. I always figured it was a pretty unfamiliar event for the Japanese. Well, if it's a kids' festival where they get to parade around in costumes, right? It can be fun to play around in an outfit that's different than usual. Jessica, trust me, I know. I have my maid outfit just back there.
You have a maid outfit?
Yeah, I have a maid outfit. You know this. I've sent you pictures of me in my maid outfit because I got it for the meme.
Ah, okay. I can't remember very well.
Ah, well. I'll see if I can find one.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. I think there's a slightly deeper cause behind it. After all, she is the witch Maria-chan. Come to think of it, when we were at the airport, didn't Maria say that if she were gonna wear a costume and be a witch? Does she like witches? Yes, she loves them. So much that it becomes a problem. Hey, it's not so bad. Usually kids at that age should love fantastical stuff like that. If it was just a heroine on some TV anime, at least it'd be cute. Judging by Rose's appearance, she wasn't very happy about her daughter's love for witches as a mother. The cousins other than Battler seemed to realize this, and they shrugged, wearing stiff smiles. So you're arguing that because she likes witches, she also likes Halloween? If we don't know, why don't we just ask her? Hey Maria, how are Halloween and witches related? just like try no slow motion. As Battler asked that, George and Jessica let out a stifled ah, as if they were trying to stop him, but too late. Maria might have been waiting for just that question. Beaming for an instant, her expression turned a little mean, as if to say you're totally clueless, aren't you? It was the face of a hobbyist who's been kicked off by an outsider saying something stupid about their favorite subject.
Is it a hard or soft C?
I think it's hard.
Yeah, okay.
To the Celts, the changing strength of the sun over the course of a year signified its birth, its growing up period, its aging and death, then its revival.
I get it. In spring, the weak warm sun starts to grow up and get hot. And then it gradually gets weaker and worn out. Sort of makes sense to think of it as the sun living out an entire life.
Yeah. So they thought that at the end of October, the sun died, was laid to rest in the land of the dead, and was then revived at the winter solstice. And the name they gave to the last day of their year, when the sun ended its 1 year lifespan and died, Samhain, and they celebrated then.
It's an interesting idea to think that the sun is revived on the day of the winter solstice when the daylight hours start to grow longer again. It's a case that makes it clear how much the ancients regarded the sun as sacred.
I see. So what does that have to do with witches? It seemed that my casual urging forward had slightly infuriated Maria. She glared at me with eyes that told me to shut up while she explained. Me talking about Sonic lore.
I love when you talk about Sonic lore.
Just like, babe, shut up! I'm trying to tell you why Shadow the Hedgehog's a Jesus allegory.
You gotta tell me about that later.
Do not get me started. Maria seemed to be having a blast as she talked, so I decided not to interrupt.
In the interval between October and November, life and death becomes the closest they ever will. The Celts believed that during this time, the world of the living grew closer to the world of the dead and otherworldly beings. And many of those living in the other world would come to visit. It was like the Bon Festival in Japan.
At the time, people believed that souls returning to the physical world would go into people's houses or possess people and do bad things. So in order to avoid harm, they performed rituals. One of those was to imitate creepy monsters and scare the souls back, which was apparently a way to avoid being possessed. That part became a festival which turned into a costume parade. You really know a lot, don't you, Maria?
Ain't it the truth? Even I never knew Halloween had such a history.
But where did that whole trick-or-treat thing come from? Her knowledge was so extensive that the adults had suddenly started listening in too. Maria, who was normally treated like the youngest all the time, puffed out her chest with pride. Saying that this was just a kids' discussion, Rosa suggested that the adults go on ahead and set their luggage down in the guest house. But nobody agreed to go with her, and she let out a heavy sigh.
Trick or treat is just for fun. It has nothing to do with what was originally a Celtic ceremony. That was created later when Christian customs were mixed in. However, I think it's right for Halloween to be that way.
According to Maria, the souls of the dead weren't the only ones who visited from the non-human world. There were also spirits with intimate connections to people's everyday lives. Humans could receive favors from those spirits, so they'd manage to gain magnificent blessings, as well as a year's worth of good crops. So basically, Halloween was also a bit of a harvest festival? Get it? And like you mentioned, I guess October is a turning point in all kinds of ways, including with the seasons. Sort of the opposite of April in Japan. Yeah, that might be a good place to mark it.
And also the witches hold a witch assembly then, called a Sabbath. The witches thank the spirits that give out blessings of prosperity and reward them.
Halloween costumes imitate the guests that come from the other side. In other words, you might say giving out candy is a way to show gratitude for the yearly harvest.
Just like George Oni-chan says.
So Halloween is a time when those two worlds intermingle? In other words, it's the most important chance for witches to intermingle with guests from that world. Is that what you're trying to say?
Just like Battler says. And you know what? You know what? October is when the power of witches and demons is at its most vigorous and prosperous. I'm sure Beatrice will come. And then we'll eat marshmallow candies together, and she'll bring me to the Golden Land with her. Sing magical songs together, do magic spells together, learn how to draw magic circles together. And then we'll learn the secrets of runes, and I'll become a great witch really, really quickly.
My, isn't that wonderful? It's best for kids to have dreams. By the way, Rosa, how old will how old will Maria be this year again?
Jesus fucking Christ, Ava. Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, shit. Maria, that's enough of that.
Don't worry about it, Rosa-san. It's a dream all girls have at one time or another.
Thank you very much. But Maria has already graduated from that age. Hey, I'm telling you to stop. Rosa scolded Maria, trying to shut her up before her cheery discussion about black magic earned her the snickers of the relatives. Oh? That sounds pretty detailed and impressive. By the way, who is Beatrice again? I know I've heard that name somewhere before. For some reason, all that's coming to mind is nothing but a stupid bitch. Huh, weird. It's just little digs. Battler had been gone for 6 years, and had completely forgotten about the legend of the Rokkenjima witch. However, when he said he didn't know Beatrice's name, Maria's once bright mood soured in an instant. When he saw that, Battler immediately remembered that it was the name of the witch of this island, but the damage had been done. Until Maria's mood improved, she went on and on about many mysterious and fabulous episodes regarding the Golden Witch. Almost like, oh fuck, what would this one be? Maybe there about 20 episodes, maybe? I don't know what episode this would be once I finish editing. I got a very long backlog. That's enough, Maria. Thank you, Butler-kun, for letting her chat with you. Kennegan, don't you have work to do? Please leave now. Son, it looks like everyone wants to set down their bags for the time being. Sorry, but could you guide everyone to the guest house? We were here this whole time?
Certainly. Well then, everyone, allow me to guide you. Then, if you will excuse me.
Koda led the relatives, and they began to head towards the guest house. They were eager to set down their luggage and take a breather, so they didn't realize that Rosa and Maria were coming with them. After watching them leave towards the guest house, Rosa's face changed suddenly. She let go of the hand that had been gripping Maria this whole time. There was a bright red mark there, making it clear how much excessive force she had been using on Maria's slender arm. That hand that slapped against Maria's head pinched her left ear and lifted. Even though I'm always telling you not to talk about witches. And I always said that was our promise together.
Mama, ouch. Mama, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
You really do like blabbering on about Halloween all the time, don't you? A festival for witches? Who cares about the Celts, black magic, all that idiotic trash? Cool, you are really close to saying something really bad there, Rosa. I did not. I saw black. I was like, oh my god, what is she about to say? I got so scared. Oh, thank God. You're 9 years old. 9. Because of that scene you made in the train, I went to all the trouble of making a stop and buying you those disgusting monster marshmallows that look like they have fluorescent paint on them. I went out of my way to buy it, even though it made us late. How much more will you embarrass me before you're satisfied? As Rosa cursed, she twisted Maria's ear up, almost as though she was about to tear it off. An expression of anguish spread across Maria's face while she frantically stood on her tiptoes, trying to soften the pain in that ear. Rosa suddenly grabbed the candy that Maria had been holding. She threw it on the ground and stepped on it over and over. To Maria, it was supposed to be proof of a memory, of a brief span of time when her mother had bought something fun for her. But now that same mother was grinding it into the ground right in front of her. It was as though a brand had been pushed into Maria's eyes, leaving a mark that could never be erased. What's the deal with this disgusting candy? Disgusting! Disgusting! It's because you're like that. It's all because you're like that. Disgusting! 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 As she said that, she struck Maria's head over and over again with her palm. She didn't hit Maria's face, because the red swelling would stand out. Maria closed her eyes tightly, patiently bearing her mother's violence. No, that wasn't quite it.
Come back, Mama. Come back, Mama. Save me. Save me, Mama. Defeat the bad witch.
She kept bearing Rosa's assault, muttering that over and over. I remember when I first read that I took that made it really feel like in visual novel language that she fucking suplexed Maria, and I was like, oh my god! Didn't I tell you? Stop fucking about witches! Why you? Rosa, tired from hitting her daughter, breathed so hard her shoulders shook. Maria grasped her hands together, withstanding it, hoping her mother would return soon.
Mama, Mama, come back quickly. Save me, Mama, and beat the bad witch.
Stay there like that forever! Stay there mumbling about witches and Halloween forever! After hurling those words at Maria, Rosa left in the direction of the guest house, leaving Maria behind. Maria, forgetting even that it was okay to cry, kept staring down at the jack-o'-lantern candy that had been trampled beyond recognition.
Oh, Rosa, where were you?
I'm sorry. The roses were so wonderful, Rosa, set your luggage down quickly and come with us. We're gonna go say hi to Anaki.
What happened to Maria-chan? Still by the flower beds?
Yes. It seems she found a rose she liked and insisted that she take care of it, refusing to listen. I decided to let her do what she wants for a while.
We sometimes forget that girls have their own little world. Sometimes we have to respect that, right?
That's right. Thanks for your concern, Kide-san. Goto-san, here's our room.
I will guide you this way. Allow me to hold your luggage.
I'll be fine. I can carry it myself, thank you. Rosa went into her room, guided by Gota. She then closed the door somewhat violently and threw her luggage on top of the bed. She got down on her knees in front of the bed, burying her face in it. For a while, Rosa made as if to shred the sheets with her fingernails, sobbing constantly.
Maria-sama, are you all right?
Cannon appeared from behind a thicket after watching Rosa leave.
I'm fine.
Maria gave a creepy laugh, but to Cannon, who had seen the whole thing, it looked like she was enduring as best she could.
She's a horrible person. I can't believe she's a mother.
What a king.
It can't be helped. You can't expect anything better than that to enter a container of that level. I'm just fine.
Goes up to his 9-year-old girl, your mom fucking sucks.
To be fair,
yeah,
she does.
She does. Cannon got down on his knees and picked up the trampled candy. It was tragic just looking at it. He thought about dusting it off and returning it to her, but really couldn't do so with it in that condition. Just as he was wondering what to do, he met Maria's gaze. No, that wasn't quite right. Maria was looking at the candy Cannon had picked up. Right now, Maria's heart was surely the same as the candy that had been trampled into a pulp. Cannon realized this, but didn't know what he should do.
That's right. I'll exchange it for the one I received earlier.
Cannon remembered that a similar candy he'd received from Maria was in his pocket. Maria stuck out her hand. Cannon thought she was trying to take it, so he held out the candy, but Maria didn't try to grasp it. Then Cannon realized. She was saying give it back. No matter how tragic and trampled it was, this candy was Maria's. Her mother had bought it for her. No matter how tragic, it had to be this candy and no other. If only it were intact enough that it could be fixed by dusting it off. Cannon hung his head.
Dusting it off is the most I can do. I'm sorry.
Cannon held out the miserable-looking candy Maria wanted. She took it and spoke.
Thank you. A human can't do anything except dust it off, but a witch could restore it to how it once was. It would be easy for Beatrice.
Maria-sama. You know about Beatrice. Sama.
Except for Battler, there was no way anyone related to the Uchiromiya family could have failed to know Beatrice's name. But just now, Maria had bragged about Beatrice to Battler. She had spoken almost as though she was meeting with Beatrice regularly. Cannon felt a sharp pain inside his left hand, which was curled into a fist. In the past, the witch called Beatrice had appeared to tempt him and Shannon. He had always tried to think of it as a bad dream. However, Shannon insisted that it was definitely a real witch. And then, in the summer, a shrine to the local Shinto god was hit by lightning, disappearing without a trace over the span of a single night. He knew about Shannon breaking that mirror, and he remembered that as the witch departed, she said she'd eventually be revived. And now, this girl who believed absolutely in Beatrice spoke as though she'd met Beatrice herself. Cannon couldn't suppress a vague sense of foreboding welling up in his heart. For a while, Maria remained silent, as though she could see into Cannon's heart. Almost as though she was waiting for a memory of Beatrice to be revived. And then, she spoke, as though it was a fact.
You know, I'm friends with Beatrice. I'm even gonna meet her today and play.
You're going to play?
Yeah, of course we'll play. We're gonna study magic together.
The face of that witch, whom Cannon had tried to pretend was a bad dream, began to slowly creep into the back of his mind. And that is where we're gonna end it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Save. Come on, okay. System. Oh, Beatrice is still there. Neat. Alright. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Umineko.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Drop a comment.
I'd
Ring
love
that bell.
Ring that bell. Yeah. Felt like we needed that. That got really heavy at the end.
Yeah.
Alright.
You should just cut it off after the crab rave.
That'd be really funny, actually, but I'm not gonna do
You
that.
should.
No.
No.
No. I think it'd be funnier to go.
No.
I think it'd be funnier to keep this in, following the crap rave.
It would be pretty funny, but not as funny as if you just cut it off. But whatever.
Bye. I hope you'll join us next time.